For Newcastle, Brown 1, and their last game of the day, I'm pretty sure it must be. Brown 2 just also finished their day a minute ago with a closely run thing against someone or other. Let me just share this so people see it, and I'll be right back with you. Right, sorry I just missed that one, just getting set up. You'll have to understand I came straight from another game. So Newcastle have scored 2 in a row. Wait, did that 1-1? Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. So the first point was actually scored by WooTang Clan, which means that it is now 1-1.
It doesn't count if it wasn't on the stream, though.
Well, neither was on the stream, so either way, it's a draw. In a minute, I'm going to run over and grab my glasses. Otherwise, I'll be describing random people to you. But so far, we have Fuzzy Blub on the left in the form of Pagan Mickles. Then we have KK, OT, Wooklud, and Kick Vuk. So it looked like a sort of 3-2 kind of structure going on there on offense, and WooTang Clan with just a couple of incisive passes managed to convert, making the score 2-1. 2-1 if you just joined us. They've been 3 very quick points. So it is, Newcastle, well, they traded basically so far. They've just traded, simple as that. So Newcastle will be looking to put this one away and then get straight back on with their opportunity for a break. And effecting that attempt will be Sam Bruce, Luke Wood, Sam Dowell, Dan Pritchard and Zoe Davis. If I describe things completely nonsensically, get something wrong, say something stupid, I will blame it all so far on the fact of not wearing my glasses. And I'll let you decide how much credibility that has on a case-by-case basis. A high plunging pull there. Not sure what the Scottish rules are, but certainly would have been brickable in English indoor. And Dan gives to Luke Wood straight away. Sam Bruce manages to get it. Wrong sideline. I'm not convinced we were out, but it was hard to tell. She may well have been. Anyway, she had the sideline wrong, so she scored herself out. So first turnover of the game, I think, and WooTang Clan looking dangerous on the front of the end zone. Scuba popped straight over the top, and that converts there, with Brown 1 needing to get a little bit of pace injected into the game so they can get onto it with the first break being conceded by them. So it's WooTang Clan 3, Brown 1.
I know in commentary it is, but would you like some cake or a biscuit?
I'd love one of those things.
You can have both if you would like.
Remind me what's what?
That's like the school cake, and that's white chocolate and cherry biscuits.
They both sound great, but I'll have a white chocolate and cherry biscuit if I may.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Oh man.
All made by my mum.
I want to sit down.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, James's mum. Receiving the ball here. We've got KK. Fernley on this side, but it's Megan that receives. To Fernley, to KK across the field. KK considers Megan. And this time she's going to get it. That sharp cut back, always generating space wherever she goes. Megan using that pace to her advantage. Meg the missile, she has been called. But on this occasion, she was fast enough for the disc, but she was not in bounds. What was it? Meg the missile that did it? What? Was that where you left?
No, it's
So that second turnover of the game again by Brown. It comes in at that front. And with a long put to the end zone is brought down very well by WooTang Clan, extending their lead to 4-1. It's delicious.
Don't worry about it.
I'm just sorry, listeners. You hear me talking with a mouthful. I'm just sampling James's mum cake biscuit. Actually,
Is that on the stream?
Yeah, there they are. They look better not in the plastic, I'll be honest, but they are delicious. I can attest.
I want to touch them.
White chocolate and cherry.
Absolutely.
Ooh, she did it once for when it was one of our university matches where she put the numbers on with icing.
Nice.
For all of us.
That's really cool. So everyone had an assigned biscuit.
Yeah.
Found a nice fact about James's mum today. I found out that they are both senior beavers. James and his mum, both beaver leaders.
We are both beaver leaders.
Beaver leaders? There you are. So, that's cool.
That's why I'm late to most trainings on a Monday.
Bruce not quite getting there for that. Oh, but she's called herself out, I think, because she fumbled the disc after she was out of play. Good spirit there, and an unfortunate turnover. Dan Pritchard picks it up. It's been the Browns so far with 3 turnovers. Actually, that's the first turnover by WooTang Clan, but they quickly get another. And he scored a fantastic Callahan, an absolutely fantastic Callahan. I'll be sure to give that man a link because I'm sure he'd like to see that again. With great interception and a Mac that took it into the end zone and laying out to pick up just an inch from the ground. Absolutely brilliant.
Hang on, must I pick my draw up from the floor?
I'll be sounding a lot more excited if it was one of our players that had done that. Let me put it that way. It was great.
Epic nonetheless.
I should
more epic if it was one of ours.
I'll work on the impartiality, but you know the deal.
It's like when Alan Shearer commentates on Newcastle matches.
Yeah, except if he was still playing for Newcastle.
Exactly.
Yeah. That would be great though. Ooh, actually, they should do that as a feature. They should just put microphones in dugouts. Be an absolute carnage. Pull here, and KK receives. Meg to Vic to KK. Oh, Goober to Meg. Sam with his head in his hands instead of defending. I think he'd be annoyed about that. Sam was frustrated not to have picked up a shot that was definitely meant for Megan, and he spent a good 3-4 seconds with his head in his hands.
Also, nothing.
Oh, there was a touch on it.
Yeah, there was a touch. But also, nothing before about putting microphones in dugouts. They do that in F1 races. They go live to the pit board, the team principal. So it is a possibility. Do it in other sports.
That's good. Ask the manager. Yeah.
Go to Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
I wonder how they're doing actually. Kick-off was at 3 o'clock. Second half should have just kicked off about now actually. And Southampton today. I can see that.
Cold bastards. I mean, sorry. You heard that on the stream. That was an unknown civilian just wandered past with some judgmental views about Southampton.
Yeah, Dan Pritchard.
They probably lived there for a couple of years, I imagine, at university.
Brown are doing a 1-4.
1-4, Dan Pritchard picks up in the brick position, gives it straight to Luke Wood. Luke Wood gives it over to Josh Clark. Immediate pop back to Zoe and then gives her a safe option, but it goes across to Luke Wood. Luke Wood with a nice undercut there from Sam Bruce, not gaining yards, but putting it in a better position on the field. Luke Wood's still there to receive, but Sam Bruce goes for a high bladey throw. Josh Clark with a spectacular layout, brings it down, gives it up the line. Really brilliant play, and Josh Clark has to take a lot of credit for keeping that in. Sam Bruce looking for the more aggressive option rather than just the sideways reset to Luke Wood. Was perhaps, if we look at Sam Bruce's face there, I think she's acknowledging that it was perhaps just a little marginal, but it was brilliantly brought down by Josh Clark.
And,
how do you feel about that?
I'm so glad Josh laid out.
Yeah.
Lots of words. Lots of words.
Exactly. Yeah.
I believe there's 13 minutes left. I'm not entirely sure. It's either 18
we've got
or
more
30.
than that. We've got 21 minutes.
21 minutes. There you go.
Roughly, because I started this a minute late, and there's 9 minutes in. They're 30-minute matches. Right.
Quite hard to see the time.
Fernley pulls. It was not breakable, but it was caught quite short. And with that, Scuba there getting straight up the line to a hammer for the far side. And neither Sam Dow nor Dan Renhard able to intercept that very tall receiver on the end of that hammer to the end zone. And the Brown...
Nearly a head taller than Sam.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
Fernley comes back.
And the Brown 6-2 down, unfortunately.
How are you finding it, Fern?
It's just frustrating. The energy just feels like we've already
Last match of the day.
given up. Last match of the day vibes.
Us.
But
Head up.
it's annoying, yeah, and it's just needs to be head up, needs to be volume. There's the strategy of when do you call the timeout? I think I probably would have called it by now, but it's hard when we got that last one. I don't know, that would have been a good time, I think. And then my pool was rubbish.
Josh to KK to Zoe.
Zoe,
It wasn't Josh, it was Luke Wood actually. Sorry about that. Yeah, unfortunately, little misconnection there, and it's just not quite working for them at the back.
Tough match.
And the turnovers immediately turned into a goal by WooTang Clan, who've been the more clinical of the two sides so far. Making it 7-2. A 7-2 that's come very, very quickly. It's been a fast-paced game characterised by short possessions, just 3, 4, 5 throws turning into goals more often than not. So when turnovers come, they come early, and then they're turned into a goal. So far, it's been WooTang Clan that have been on the good side of that trend. As a great pull puts Sam Bruce in possession at the back of the end zone to start this point. Gives a great little throw there to Meg, who brings it down safely despite close pressure and a little bit of contact after the fact. Meg looks but then doesn't give to Dan Pritchard. Tries for Sam Bruce, but it wasn't there and it's intercepted. And WooTang Clan now in their possession, which so far has been very secure. Really lovely throw. That's a nice shape on that throw. It's always going to be difficult to deal with. A lot of heads quite down for the Brown at the moment, which is disappointing to see, but they're having a hard time of it in this game. 8-2. Fernley, Vic, Luke Wood pondering, Zoe and Dan Renhard. Trying to stretch. And that is a brick. Not far out from that 2-metre box. It defines when they're allowed to brick it, but was just outside. So Luke Wood is going to pick it up in the middle of the field. He's got Fernley as a reset, but he immediately gives a high release backhand to his ISO in the form of Vic Cook. Vic Cook resets to Luke Wood. Luke Wood considers her, but then instead little lazy backhand flick to Fernley, who gives a very nicely shaped curvy backhand all the way over to the far side for Dan Renhard to safely receive, and Newcastle bring down their 3rd point of this game.
Up the tune.
Looks like a timeout's been called. With Newcastle trailing 8-3.
This is when you think of witty things to say now. How's the back?
It's all right.
We hope you've enjoyed this coverage of mixed indoor regionals. Commentary brought to you by Pete. Doesn't need a surname, just Pete. Is that a homemade hat?
My mother-in-law to be knitted it.
Very nice. It's very cosy.
Oh, it is very cosy. Yeah, it had a bobble, but the bobble disintegrated. So I've still got a bag of loose wool that was the bobble, but don't know if it'll ever go back on this hat. I'm probably not going to bother. But no, it's a nice warm hat. If you're watching the last game, you'll know the hat in question.
Oh yes.
Well, I wore it while we were playing, that's all.
It helps you identify yourself.
It helps me identify myself.
When
Otherwise,
you're
like,
watching
who am I?
Where am I?
KK with a high pull. Oh, it's not quite. It had all the shape and promise of a good pull, but didn't quite make it in. So it's been bricked, and you see a side stack going on here, generating that space in the middle of the field, and they've managed to put the disc into that and bring it down. And when they're able to put quick discs with that accuracy into one-handed catches safely, it is a very difficult thing to defend against. So them coming out straight from the timeout with a new strategy with that side stack, generating the space and using it quite effectively, and that puts WooTang Clan at a 9-3 advantage. On the line for the Brown this time is going to be Vic, Bruce, Luke, Josh and Zoe. A high pull is going to be good. It's coming in and collected by Vic Cook. Josh Clark goes for that line cut under a lot of pressure. Sam Bruce manages to give the backup option well. Josh Clark made a good cut there. Sam hesitated in giving it, and we were all, I think, a bit worried about that. But she managed to get it to him anyway. Josh Clark finds Vic Cook. Vic Cook in the front of the end zone with a high hammer over the top looking for Sam Bruce, but it didn't make it through. And as has characterized this game so far, a very quick conversion of possession by WooTang Clan. They're not wasting time getting to the end zone, and more often than not, they're getting there.
12 minutes on the clock, from what I can see.
Yeah, that's probably about right. Yeah.
Difficult to see from here, but
Yeah, no, that tallies with what I would expect. So more than halfway through this game, it's 10-3, and at the moment, very serious danger of WooTang Clan capping Brown 1 here in their last game of the day. It's Brown 1's last game of the day, probably also WooTang's, but. Dan Pritchard receives the pull, gives it straight to Sam Bruce. Sam Bruce considers his line cut, but instead decides to square it to Megan. Megan, who had decided to do something else, manages to collect it safely anyway. Sam Bruce is poked. Megan looks around, gives it back to Sam Bruce, who does have to move in the end to get it. Dan Pritchard back again, gives it to Megan, goes straight at the line. Nice disc from Megan, marrying up with a good cut from Dan Pritchard, turning some really nice movement into some good yards, and a lovely disc there, giving it to Sam Bruce, who then just pops it back to Dan Pritchard. That is some of the flow and clinicality and the strong offense that's seen from Brown today. We know they can do it, but we're yet to see very much of it in this game. And the score now 10-4. It is chilly, yes. It's pretty cool as usual here in Motherwell. I mean, we're only visiting winter, but you know.
drive up was interesting.
Drive up was interesting. We're in the wake of Storm Airwind at the moment, or it's still sort of slightly more timidly raging, but only just about 5 miles from the venue, not even. Everyone had to pass through a blizzard, which was so sudden it caught a lot of cars out. There were a number of crashes happening all around us as we were making that final drive in. And one of the first examples of sloppy offense leading to a turnover we've seen from WooTang Clan this game, with that turnover there, which means that Brown get an opportunity to break. Zoe looks for Vic Cook. Oh! It really looked like that was going to be a goal. It was the angles were tight, but Zoe's throw looked bang on from this angle, and it just sort of went above and below and just somehow around Vic's outstretched hand. So a turnover gives WooTang Clan possession at the front of the end zone. They've gone straight for a big shot. There's 2 people under it to contest. Luke Wood decides he's not in the game of clattering the other team. Not this time round. Vic Cook wasn't quite in the right position.
It's a slippery slope when you clatter somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So bringing that down well again. You know, it's exactly what we've seen all game. When they get the disc, more often than not, WooTang Clan are putting it away, converting it into a goal within 3-4 passes, and often straight away. As a result, the score is 11-4. Newcastle have not been as clinical. It's as simple as that. So, pull here. Dan Pritchard's going to receive. He's got Josh Clark to his left. He's got Megan Pickles to his right. Josh Clark cuts left to right. Receives a short disc. Considers giving it there back to Dan Pritchard, but instead gives it to Megan. Megan, who's she's been fantastically quick and effective with her cuts all day, but has found something of a match in this defender. So she's really having to work for that space, but she is still getting there. Lovely disc there to Dan Pritchard with one of his characteristic inside out, low release, flexible throws there, zipping along and just evading Megan's outstretched fingers. It's a connection we've seen work quite a bit today. Megan's receiver, well, I mean, she's been playing, you know, in the back three and handling that weave a lot. It's a big throw straight away from WooTang, and you know they've got to expect it, really. I mean, Sam there is marking someone who's probably got 6-8 inches on him. It's always a challenge, but WooTang have been throwing that first throw a lot and scoring from it. So no surprise there as they bring it down for 12-4, and with about 8 minutes roughly left in this game, the WooTang Clan only need 1 goal to end the game early. KK receives the pull. Luke Wood straight off up the line. Something a bit more aggressive from the Brown. We like to see that. They managed to gain some yards there. It was well timed. And Luke Wood straight away with that high throw round the other side too, awaiting Sam Bruce. See, that's some of the extra aggression that WooTang Clan have shown so far. Brown have had some really nice slick offense with a lot of passes, a lot of going through hands today. But this game with a stronger defense hasn't been quite so clinical for them. And so compared against the very, very fast scoring approach that WooTang Clan have taken, the direct route to the end zone, they've struggled. But that was an example of the Brown more pivoting to that approach, really. One quick cut up the line from Luke Wood, followed by a shot to the end zone. 12-5. Obviously nothing is decided. It's not over till it's over, but Brown have a hell of a hill to climb here, being 12-5 down.
Might have been match point as well.
Yeah.
Let's go, Luke, one high, yeah? Come on,
WooTang Clan put it, and they score straight away. Well, that's definitely been a tough game for the Brown. They had some nice moments in there. What dominated that game? I think there was a difference in playing standard. They both strong teams, no doubt, but compared with each other, WooTang, I only remember them dropping it once. Like very, very little, and when we caught it out of bounds once. Very, very few turnovers from them, and their defense, even with the Brown speed, that is something that they've been relying on. They were able to put someone, within arm's reach of pretty much every cut this game, and putting that pressure on meant that Brown were turning over every 10, every 12 passes, and WooTang were scoring every 5 passes and turning over every 30. So that's what's decided it. Thank you very much for joining. Whether this is the first game that you've watched today, or whether you've been following our whole campaign for both teams, it's been nice to have these put up. And no doubt some of the players will be watching them back later as well. This concludes, both teams are finished now for the day, so we will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.